All right, so welcome everyone, and thank you for being on this lunchtime series. And today's topic is write a cover letter that stands out. So let's start by just looking at what we'll be talking about today. What exactly is a cover letter? Which I'm sure most of you already know. Also, we'll be talking about the challenges of writing a cover letter. And should you even bother to write a cover letter? This is a question I also get a lot. What's the difference between a resume and a cover letter? And what you need to do before you even write a cover letter. And I'll also be sharing with you a template and a sample cover letter so you can actually have a better idea of what this should include. So let's get started. What is a cover letter? A cover letter is basically a letter that accompanies your resume as part of a job application. And this can be if you're applying online, right? You send this, or if you have somebody like directly that you're sending an application to, you can include the cover letter. So I want to hear from you because I know maybe all of you on this call have written a cover letter in the past or have applied to jobs where a cover letter is required. What are your biggest challenges in terms of writing a cover letter? What are your challenges? Choosing what experiences to highlight. Understand what to write there. Yeah, so if you don't know what to write there, it's definitely going to be a difficult experience, Aliona. For me, having a tailor for each one per job. Why is it hard to choose the experience to include? Why is it hard to tailor the cover letter per job application? What's difficult about that? Sophia saying how to stand out among all the competitive candidates. Yeah, so what's difficult about that, Sophia? Vedanti, conveying your experience in a way that is useful to the employers. And what's difficult about that, Vedanti? Feel hard to write a different cover letter every time. So why is that difficult, Sophia? I want you to connect to why is it hard to decide what experience to put on. I want you to connect to why is it hard to stand out among many candidates. Why is it hard to determine what to put on the cover letter? What kind of story should I tell? Each job have different requirements. I feel it's hard because there's uncertainty as to what employers prefer to see. So the uncertainty of how it's going to be received by the other party. So what would make somebody respond favorably to a cover letter? Yes, how I am going to be helpful to them, Vedanti is saying yes. So they want to see value, right? They want to see somebody who is going to be able to help them meet their needs. Why they're a good fit for the position. Yeah. So notice, Aliona, I want you to look at one of the keywords there is why, right? Why they're a good fit for the position. And how do you know that someone is a good fit for a position? Experience, interest, yeah, in the position. Interest. So interest, I want you to also keep that in mind, interest in the position, right? It's not just this person is coming because they want to get paid, right? If somebody's just getting this job because, they want a paycheck, then that doesn't really show interest, right? So how do you show interest in a position? It's going to be really important. So definitely what we're seeing in terms of the challenges is, these feelings of uncertainty in terms of, again, how is somebody going to react? And also the fear of rejection. And we've seen this in many of the conversations we've been having in these webinars, that those fears are very prevalent, right? In terms of being afraid of how other people perceive us. And because of that, writing a cover letter can feel very difficult. But what people often do, and what I see students often do, is that they go on Google and they find a cover letter, sample, and they just take that sample and they write a very generic cover letter. And how do you react if you're a hiring manager and you receive a very generic cover letter that this person is sending to everyone else? How does that land with you? They don't care about the specific job. Yeah, they didn't take the time to really understand my needs. Yeah, Aliona is saying that they just want a job. So yeah, Amni is saying it doesn't land well with me. It shows that they might not know what the position is looking for. Yeah, and all they care about is themselves and that they would get a job. Vedanti saying it shows a lack of interest. Yeah, you guys got it. So you can understand now, putting yourself on that other side, why it's really important to spend some effort in terms of writing a good cover letter. So should you even bother writing a cover letter? What do you think? Should you even bother to write a cover letter? Not sure, yeah. Why aren't you sure, Aliona? I never read cover letters. I just look at the resume. And why don't most people read cover letters is because they expect to see the same thing, right? Dear Sir or Madam, please accept this as my application for the role of audit intern or whatever it is. So it becomes a very generic thing. I think it's half and half because it allows you to explain who you are aside from your resume, and some hiring managers do read it. Yeah, they're generic. Yeah. So a lot of times, because these cover letters are generic, people don't really bother reading them. However, there are recruiters who have told us that because someone took the time to write a really good cover letter, that this actually gave them an advantage over other candidates. So is it worth writing a cover letter? Here's what I'm going to say. If you're just going to write a cover letter for the sake of writing a cover letter, don't do it, because it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. An average cover letter which just rehashes what's already on your resume doesn't add any value. This is just the generic, vanilla flavor cover letter you see posted all over Google and everybody sends out. A great cover letter, on the other hand, is well thought out and shows alignment with your audience. So it really shows that you're aligned with the role. It makes a difference in showing that the role and the mission of the organization resonates with you and matters to you. So it means that you have to do some research before you write a cover letter. It's not just slapping things on a piece of paper. And it allows you to show that you would be an asset. It's not just here I am and I have skills, but specifically, how can I be an asset in this role to this organization? And, if you actually spend the time writing a cover letter, it helps you prepare for the interview because you're not just staying at the surface level. Here is where you have the opportunity to connect with yourself and see what are the roles that, one, matter to me, what are the roles that I really am qualified for, and what are these organizations that I want to be a part of their mission and I really align with their values, versus making decisions from a place of fear. I'm so afraid that I'm not going to get a job, so let me send out 1,000 applications to anyone who is going to hire me. So it also means take a stand for yourself. And you can also understand the value that you have to offer, because if you don't value yourself, that's when you're going to just take anything. A great cover letter also helps you to filter the things that are not right for you. So the differences between a resume and cover letter. So a resume is basically a lot about what you have done, right? It's great at telling what you have done. Here's my education, here's my experience, here's my volunteer projects that I've done. A cover letter shows why this matter. It shows the why, right? Why are you really interested in this role? Why do you care? Why this organization? These are things that don't come through as strong in a resume, and this is an opportunity for you to showcase this. So remember, it's the why. A resume is more about the content. There's the substance, that I want to share to show that I'm a strong candidate. The cover letter is more about the connection. It's more about the emotional appeal. Let me show you who I am. Let me show you what I stand for. So it's more about making that emotional connection to draw somebody in. And I'll show you a sample cover letter and you'll let me know if that comes through. A resume also focuses more on the skills and the qualifications. What is it that I'm bringing to the table? Here is how I'm qualified. Let me show you that I've gotten a master's in accounting. I've passed the CPA exam. I've had 3 internships in audit. This is what a resume is going to show you. A cover letter shows more of the values and the alignment. Here is what I value, and I know you value this based on my research, based on the interactions with professionals in your organization. I'm really excited about your mission and the difference you're making in the world. The resume provides relevant data, right? It's like data, giving you data points, these bullets that are to the point and that show you, here is how I can actually make an impact. And basically the cover letter includes powerful stories, right? It includes stories. Again, this comes from the emotional appeal. It's the opportunity for you to show through examples how you can be aligned with this organization. Also, a resume is typically personalized based on industry and role. You know, if you've watched the webinar I've done on writing a resume that stands out, you know, I talk about targeting this based on the role, based on the needs they have. A cover letter, in addition to being personalized based on industry and role, it also is targeted to an organization, a specific organization. So here's where you're getting a little bit more granular in terms of why does this organization matter to you? Why does working for Google really matter to you? So you have to actually customize it based on this. So does this difference make it clearer what a cover letter is? Having these distinctions? Because I like providing these distinctions because a lot of times people, you know, don't know what's the difference. So Alexandria is saying yes, Amni is saying yes, Amy is saying yes. Yeah, because a lot of times Viranti is saying yes. Awesome. Because a lot of times people don't make this distinction, and that's when the cover letter just falls flat and it becomes a very generic document. So Alyun is saying yes. Now I understand why I don't read most of the cover letters. They are generic, so I disregard them. That's awesome that you have that perspective from the hiring manager, Aliona, because when you put yourself in the shoes of the hiring manager, when you're looking at the whole job search process, you can understand why, you know, certain resumes don't land, why certain cover letters don't land, why certain interviews are just generic. So Catherine, I would say keep it to 1 page. Catherine is asking how many pages can I write in my cover letter. It's not meant to be a long drawn out document. It's meant to get to the point. And again, we'll have a sample and you'll see how it really gets to the point. So I would recommend no more than 1 page. And again, when you're writing from an emotional place, it doesn't mean that you have to include, you know, a lot of details, but what you have to be is specific, keeping in mind what's important to your audience. It's not telling stories where you're going to go into flowery language and all of that. Your language, again, has to be very specific to your audience. Also, the cover letter is showing your communication skills, right? Just like the resume, it's showing your communication skills. You know, can you communicate information effectively? Or are you missing the point entirely? So before you write a cover letter, right, you want to brainstorm. It's not just sitting and putting things on paper. It's not just sitting with a template and start writing. You want to brainstorm. And what do you brainstorm? Before you even write, one of the first questions you want to ask yourself is, why do you want to be in this role? Right? A poor answer, and this is something I get from students so often, is finance is interesting. What does that mean for you? Right? Because I don't know what interesting means when you say I like finance or I'm interested in finance. It doesn't convey anything to me because I don't know you. This is my first opportunity where I'm interacting with you, and saying something so generic tells me that you probably don't know much about this industry and you're just looking for a job, right? Or I'm choosing analytics because I love numbers. And I think that's a really poor reason to choose anything, because if you say I love numbers, you can go be a math teacher, you can be an engineer, you can be an accountant, you can be so many different things. But why specifically are you choosing this field, right? So a stronger answer would be something like, given my experience growing up in a country where corruption was the norm and experiencing how it negatively impacted human lives, I knew was something I wanted to help eradicate. This is why I've chosen audit as my career path. When I see something like that, I am moved. Typically, like, you know, when a student says an answer like that, what happens is that I would get goosebumps because I can actually feel moved and I can see that this is somebody who has skin in the game. It's not just about getting a job for that person, right? So Sophia is saying a strong answer looks like a good personal story. Yeah, good personal story that is relatable to the role that you're applying to. So look at the difference between those 2 answers. If somebody says to you, I'm choosing audit because I love numbers, or I'm choosing audit because it's interesting, versus somebody saying to you, given my experience growing up in a country where corruption was the norm and experiencing it, how it negatively impacted human lives, I knew it was something I wanted to help eradicate. This is why I've chosen audit as my career path. What's the difference between those two answers? Aliona is saying emotionally connected. Yeah. Amni saying strong answers personalized and saying why the career path was selected. And beyond that, as a hiring manager reading that, Amni, how does that affect you? So if you don't have a convincing answer to this question, you want to check with yourself if this is the right role for you. If you don't know why you're choosing a certain career path, check with yourself. Is this something that I really care about? Or am I just doing it because that's what I'm supposed to do? And asking yourself, what's the real reason you're choosing the career path? Because the self-honesty is really going to help you to reflect and see, are you doing something because you really are interested? Are you doing something that you really value? Are you really doing something that, matters to you? So Amni is saying, it makes me realize they just don't want the job. They don't just want a job, they have a passion. If somebody's actually giving a more personalized, relatable story, Vanessa saying strong answer gives you the insight into how invested, how invested the person is in the industry and really care about this. So why do you want to be in this role? This is a question you want to sit and you want to reflect on and really think about it. And how can you showcase this, not from a self-serving perspective, like I am interested in getting a job, but how can you come in from a place of I want to make a difference, I want to add value, right? Because that's what really moves people, when they see that you want to make an impact in their organization. Second question you want to ask is, why are you qualified? Right? Poor answer is, I'm getting a master's degree. Well, so are millions of other people, right? You're not even differentiating yourself. Strong answer, my boss went on emergency leave after 6 months of me starting my job, and I took the responsibility of managing the most critical project, overseeing a team of 5 and delivering the project within schedule and under budget by $500,000. As a result, I was promoted to associate 2 years ahead of schedule. What do you think of what the difference between these two answers? I'm getting my master's degree, so I'm qualified. I know Excel, so I'm qualified. So Aliona is saying the story, background, specific story. So not just any story, evidence. Absolutely, Aliona. It's going deeper. So Amni is saying taking it away from solely academic, more focused on job experience. Yeah, and you can even bring in academic if you actually can show a story, like even from the academic, if you've given the presentation, you can use that. So if you don't have job experience, you can also use any experience, but it's not staying at a surface level. It's actually showcasing, again, something that I can't show you necessarily on my resume, right? So Sophia is saying strong answer shows the soft skills, which show what the person can do. Yeah, so it's showing those, you can, here's where you can showcase your leadership skills. You can showcase any skills, technical skills, anything, right? You could have even said an example like this. My boss went on emergency leave and I learned Python in 3 weeks, where I was able to do the job of somebody who had 5 years of experience. And even with that, like, I moved because I see this as somebody who, is eager to learn. This is somebody who is shows leadership skills without saying I'm a strong leader. Because if you're saying I'm a strong leader, you're not really showing evidence, right? So the evidence part is super, super important. It's important to differentiate yourself using specific and relevant stories based on what's important to your audience. Remember, we say the difference between the cover letter and the resume is that the cover letter is more personalized and it gets into those stories. And if somebody's communicating with you at that level where it can start to, like tug at your emotions, that's when you're going to be impacted. That's when you're going to be moved, and it's going to make a difference. So before you write a cover letter, another question you want to answer is why this organization? So here's a poor answer. Deloitte is a big company and well known globally. Versus the attention to detail demonstrated by John Doe and Anna Jones of Deloitte in making the CPA case competition at Brook a valuable experience for students was above and beyond. I know from my research that it is the same level of commitment that Deloitte brings to its clients. This resonates strongly with me as a leader of the largest accounting club on campus, where we actively seek feedback from our members to ensure we're providing quality programs each semester. So how does those two answers resonate with you? So Vedanti is saying how to inculcate the story in the cover letter so it doesn't come all together and does not look fake. The point of the cover letter is to show that you are valuable. So first it means to really you to first acknowledge the value that you're bringing. If you can't acknowledge the value, it's going to be hard to write a good cover letter, right? So it's acknowledging the value that you have to offer, and you want to make that value visible to people who it can benefit. That's all that you're responsible for. I am valuable and I want to make sure that the people who can benefit from the value that I have and I want to offer to others, that they know I exist. And I'm going to give them the best stories and and the strongest evidence to show them this, so that I don't deny them that opportunity, right? And if you're doing it from that place, it actually will come together and not look fake. Is it coming from that place of value, or is it coming from that place of pushing my agenda on someone? It's to really help the people who you are in alignment with in terms of values and in terms of their mission, be able to see you and recognize you, and you value yourself. So what do you think of the poor answer and the strong answer in why this organization? Deloitte is a big company and well-known globally. Versus, hey, I've interacted with Deloitte professionals and I am, blown away by the fact that they go above and beyond in their attention to detail. This is something that really resonates with me, because as a leader in one of the largest clubs, I ensure that we understand the needs of our members to serve them well. And are you able to see why your cover letters in the past may not have landed, why they may not have been strong? Aliona is saying good cover letter requires deep understanding. Correct. Catherine is saying poor answer doesn't say something that we all don't know. Strong answer shows that you met up with people from that company and went above and beyond. Yeah, so it's bringing again the personal experiences, right? Aliona is saying it shows knowledge. Yeah. So why this organization? You want to focus on alignment of values and contribution. Here is, what this organization values. This organization values attention to detail. This organization values commitment to clients, right? So, and this is something that really resonates with me. Here is how I can contribute. Here is how I can make a difference. I am the leader of an organization and I actively seek feedback. And something that you want to remember is that companies don't exist to hire people. When a company is forming, it's not forming because it says I want to, create employment for people. It's forming to serve, its customers and its clients. So if you're going in from the very small perspective of I am here to get a job from you, that's not why that company exists. Versus if you're coming in from the perspective of I am here to add value so that you can better serve your clients and customers, it resonates with them because this is why they exist. So it means taking that step back and seeing the company, seeing the organization, seeing what it stands for, understanding its mission, understanding its values. Because when you can see that clearly, then you understand how you fit into the picture. And when you can show yourself in that picture, that's when companies are really going to take notice. So those are the three big ones, right? So why am I interested? Why do I care about this specific role? Why am I qualified? And again, drawing on the stories. Why this organization, right? Three big things. So putting together your cover letter, you want to use a template. If you're going to be sending it as a PDF, you want to use a template that's consistent with your resume in terms of the header, in terms of the font you're using, font size, all of that. So keep something that's consistent with your resume. If you're sending us an email, you can just paste the body of the cover letter as the message. Like, you don't need the header, you don't need the date, you don't need all of that. So it's just like if I'm sending an email message, I'm going to say, hi, Aliona, and then you can actually continue your email message there. So just know this, if you're going to be sending it as an attachment with your resume part of a PDF, just make sure that the template is consistent. And if you're just putting it as a body of the message, you don't need like the header and all of that stuff. Just send it as an email where you're addressing that person. So Heather, this is what I would recommend, right? So here you have, like, it's, if you follow the Baruch resume format, the Zicklin resume format that we make available to you, you can see it follows pretty much the same format, where it's the name, it's the address, phone number, email, and then LinkedIn. And then you have the line across that separates the rest of the letter, and then the date, of course. If you're putting a letter, what's the date? And then here, if you know the name of the person, you can put it there. So I just made this name up. It's actually not a real recruiter at Deloitte. So in case some of you are just going to use this to send an email to Deloitte, please don't. So Sarah Zaffer, campus recruiter, Deloitte, 30 Rockefeller Center, New York, 10020, right? And then here is regarding, and it says summer 2021 audit internship application. And here you go into, hi, Ms. Jaffer, and you can continue, with the body there. So Catherine is saying, what if you don't know who the hiring manager? Should we just write hire hiring manager? Here you go, Catherine. Here's your answer. So same header. You don't know who the hiring manager is. You can say, again, put your date. You can put recruiting manager, audit services, Deloitte, and then put the address. And then you can say regarding summer 2021 audit internship application, and then say dear recruiting manager. Simply as that, right? Or if it's a recruiting team, you can say recruiting team, audit services, Deloitte, the recruitment team, right? So you want to, if you don't know, you can use that. Recruiter, hiring manager, recruitment team, whatever it is. So it's, but if you know the name of the person who's the hiring manager or the recruiter, it's better to use that person's name, right? More personalized. So let's look at a sample, shall we? So here's a sample. I'm going to read it to you. So notice the header, notice the, the date, the recruiting manager, title at the top with the address, summer 2021 audit internship application. Dear recruiting manager, I was born in a country where corruption was so rampant that my parents, who refused to bribe public officials, could no longer sustain their business. When I was 2 years old, they left everything behind and moved to the United States as refugees with their family. Even though my parents struggled initially to make ends meet in the United States, they successfully grew a business from the ground up. I learned many lessons through these life experiences, including how corruption negatively impacts human lives and the importance of integrity in business. This is why when I discovered audit as a career path, I knew that it was the field I had to pursue, drawing on my analytical and investigative skills to protect public interest and preserve transparency. Currently, I'm in my first year in the Masters of Science in Accountancy program at Baruch College, where I'm also the secretary of the Graduate Accounting Society. As part of the executive committee of this club, I have co-hosted events with many of the public accounting firms. Deloitte has stood out among them because of the way the firm uses analytics and technology to enhance its services and streamline in-house processes for increased productivity. This resonates strongly with me. In my internship, I'm using Python and R to analyze financial data and provide insights to the director of audit to more efficiently serve our clients. Given my background, education, and experience in accounting, I'm excited to apply for the summer audit internship position at Deloitte because of the impact I know I can make in a culture that is dedicated to ensuring the highest level of integrity. I'm attaching my resume for your review. If you have questions, you can reach me at 917-555-5555 or at janedoe@gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon to schedule an interview. I appreciate your time and consideration. Sincerely, Jane Doe. What do you think of that cover letter? Aliona saying very good. Why is it very good, Aliona? Made me want to read it. Yeah, so you can see yourself drawn in. Again, what is the emotional impact this has on you? How has it connected with you? The beginning of his cover letter was different. Yeah. Catherine is saying it shows a story with feelings. Yeah, and you can, again, you can see why this person is vested in this career. Aliona saying you want to know the story. Yeah. Sophia saying I feel like the first part is a reading novel. Yeah. So Amni is saying it starts with something personal versus about the position. But it's also about the position because it shows how this person has experienced corruption, which is the whole point of audit, right? It's like, how do we stop corruption and fraud and ensure transparency in business? So it's personalized, but it's also relatable. So this is not the part where you're going to talk about a story that has nothing to do with this, right? But it's your personal story, and we all have these personal stories. And it's how do you draw on these personal stories to really showcase why you're a great candidate. What feelings does it evoke? What do you think about the candidate when you read a cover letter like this? What is it that it prompts you to do? So I feel like at the end, Jane was confident about scheduling the interview. Yeah. You know, some things that that people write in a cover letter is, I think I'm a good fit, right? Avoid saying that, because if you're saying, I think I'm a good fit, you're again not providing evidence. The whole point of the interview process is to determine if you're a good fit. So Sophia saying the cover letter makes the reader want to meet the candidate, right? So Aliona, the candidate is sincere. So how does the sincerity come through? Because I know Vedanti was asking earlier, how do we not come across as fake? Catherine, it is unique. Aliona, the keyword is personalized, right? It's personalized, it's warm. This is why this really matters to me. Notice the whys. Why is it that I'm interested in this field? It's the first paragraph. The second paragraph is here's why I'm qualified, and also why Deloitte. I mean, your cover letter can have 4 paragraphs if you want. As I said, keep it to 1 page as much as possible. But you know, you could have even started this cover letter by saying, here is why Deloitte resonates with me. So it's not really necessarily the order in which you answer those questions, but it's that those 3 questions are answered, because the why is what really, you know, connects with people. Aliona saying, and the keywords, personal Vedanti. Yeah, I get it. Okay, awesome. So you can actually now see the difference. So in terms of writing a cover letter, this is what I recommend, right? In terms of it being more personalized, including stories, focusing on the connection. And again, the stories don't have to be long, elaborate, drawn out stories where you're showing that you're unable to get a point across. It needs to be stories that are on point, that really allows that person to connect, to see how you fit in with their team, to show how you fit in with the mission of the organization, without saying, hi, recruiting manager, I'm a great fit, or without just rehashing the resume as we said before. That's not the point of this. So Catherine is saying it inspired me to write my cover letter. I'm happy to hear that, Catherine. And start looking at the stories, like thinking deeply at the stories. Even besides writing a cover letter, it's very important to think deeply about why you do anything that you do. What are your motivations? Because you'll be surprised to see that a lot of times the reason that we choose a lot of the things that we do is because of fear, right? That's the motivation. So I hope this provided some clarity on a topic I know for a lot of people it's a mystery, and end up doing a really poor job in terms of writing a cover letter, because it becomes a very generic document that is sent out to employer after employer and really doesn't land with hiring managers. So I hope this gave you an insight. And what I want you to start noticing as well, and what you want to start to do is to take a step back and value yourself, right? Value what is it that you're bringing. And again, if you don't feel you're bringing much value, I want you to ask yourself, is this something that I have an interest in? Is this an organization that I really feel connected with? Is this a role that would make me want to contribute meaningfully? And having those conversations with yourself, because that level of self honesty is very important in the career process. Otherwise, if you're making decisions based on fear, just based on finding any job, it's where I see a lot of people end up unfulfilled, and where a lot of people are not able to think deeper than the reason I'm choosing finance is because I'm interested in this field, or the reason I'm choosing accounting is because I love numbers. So pick something you're really vested in, because you know that you are bringing value to the table, and also because you know that the organization that you're going to be contributing to can benefit from this. And at the end of the day, I always feel it's a win-win-win, right? It's like you win because you get to do something that you really care about. The organization wins because they get somebody who is actually contributing. And then as a whole, society wins because you care about what the mission of this organization is, and hopefully that organization to you is making a positive impact to society. Like in my job as a career coach at Brew College, I feel it's a win-win-win because I get to do something that where I feel that I can provide value based on my experiences. I feel at the end of the day, I get to contribute meaningfully to students, where there's a win for them. And then as a whole, society wins when students choose careers that are really meaningful and they get to contribute in the world. So personally, for me, a career should be a win-win-win. And I hope this provided some clarity in terms of not just cover letter, but in terms of careers.